uh.
Brothers Podcast.
Hit me with your best joke.
All
Fire
right.
away.
Did you hear about this? Cue the music. Pills loaded with bacteria from other people's poop might help adults who are highly allergic to peanuts safely eat the nuts in small amounts.
No, that is so smart, but like insane.
Well, I've heard of that treatment before.
Right,
And it's like you have to regrow your
but not
gut
the
biome.
ingestion of poop.
No. Let me hit you with this again, since I said.
Yeah,
Pills loaded with bacteria from other people's poop might help adults who are highly allergic to peanuts safely eat the nuts in small amounts. So maybe a tossed salad in your diet is the key to a more expansive menu.
Ooh, nice. Okay. I really enjoyed the reading of the jokes 2 episodes ago.
Oh,
so
yeah. It'll be back.
I would like you to read these.
Oh, okay. Next time.
Don't read ahead.
Next time, is this the same page? Just the top?
Yeah, just the top. Just the top.
Okay. How's everybody doing out there?
Oh, yeah, you're the pro.
I didn't get paid. I'm not a pro.
What?
No.
You're making money for them.
That's not how
They
it works.
put on the event. Yeah, it does work that way. They should give you $20.
I know. I think the headliner got paid. There could be an attempt to bring back... So let me start over. There could be an attempt to bring back the dodo bird after its DNA was found by scientists in Madagascar. Also, a new line of Brownings is dropping after my DNA was found by scientists in my shower drain. Oh, man. You set me up.
That was all for that.
I did see that article, though. That's interesting.
I know. It's
The
so
dodo.
weird.
In other paternity news, the long-running show Maury is going off the air after 31 seasons. It's being spun off into a larger Maury cinematic universe. The first 2 shows have been announced: King of Welfare Queens and How I Hit Your Mother. The larger Maury cinematic universe. MCU.
All right.
That was hard. Maury cinematic is hard to say for some reason.
Maury cinematic.
Those
Actually,
are
I
good.
heard somebody say Maury today, but they said it like Maori.
Maori.
I'm like, what is this, Australia?
New Zealand.
What is this, Oceana? Oceanic continent?
What is this? Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Remember they tried to call... Remember they did the 7 continents. Can you name them?
Yeah.
North America,
And they
South
tried to say
America.
Oceana.
And then they tried to do a Pluto type twist where they changed Australia to Oceana,
Yeah.
which
You ever seen those maps?
let's call it the Australia region or something.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those maps where it's like everything's proportionate
Right.
correctly?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's crazy. Australia is huge.
Australia's huge?
Yeah. Well, pretty much everything else is huge.
Pulling up. Africa is gigantic.
Yeah. I believe Australia. Let me just do
All
Australia.
that weird Canada and Russia stuff goes away.
Yep. Let me do.
Even though Russia's still big.
Let me just do Australia versus the U.S.
I saw one.
Because everything is compared to the U.S. because we're the best.
We the best country. I saw a TikTok about Russia producing.
How big
15,
do you think? How do you normally think Australia is to the U.S.?
Yeah, I wasn't saying
Like
anything.
on the
Go
little.
ahead.
Like on a little. Oh, because you never interrupted me before. Australia.
Oops.
Australia.
We made a mistake, didn't
is
we?
pretty much the size of the
Okay.
U.S.
Oh, that's what I was just gonna say. Wow.
But it always seems smaller on maps.
I never thought of Australia being smaller, but maybe
I would think of
I
it
don't
maybe
know.
like 75% of that. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty big. It's pretty much almost equal, maybe a little bit bigger to the continental U.S.
yeah.
You know what's weird? I started thinking about is I think about it sometimes.
Brazil.
That one doesn't surprise. Brazil's but it's like kind of flattened out
Mm-hmm.
because Brazil's pretty stretched out on a
Mm-hmm.
conventional map.
What about Belgium?
Small. Belgium. Well, let's see. Let's see. Brussels, Belgium. I'm gonna say Belgium is about the size of. I don't even know. Let me see. Belgium is about the size of. What's its comp? Ohio.
Smaller. It's like Maryland.
Oh, I was gonna say smaller. Then I thought it was gonna be a trick, so I thought it was gonna be bigger. Dang it!
Tricky.
I should have gone with my gut.
Tricky.
You know what I was thinking about today? Again, is just the U.S. takeover of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because Hawaii, if you look left, there's all these islands that start appearing, and then you do get over into what is Oceana. But Hawaii is
Yeah, Hawaii
sort
is
of
the
out there
start.
in the middle.
Hawaii is like the start of the archipelago that goes all the way over.
Have you seen this freaking TikTok? About the Hawaiian Islands, about how it has to do. There's like basically like one but one sort of volcanic channel under there, and it's about the plates moving over that channel. So it's not like the Hawaiian Islands are
Seven
like
different volcanoes.
7 different volcano.
It's the same
channels.
one.
It's the same one that has moved over time.
Yeah.
Oh, mind blown emoji. But just the fact that the U.S. took over Hawaii and Guam to be basically a military outpost
Yeah.
is sort of insane. And I remember there's this guy I worked with, and he would always talk about when he had to start wearing shoes to school.
Oh, they lived there?
Yeah, because he grew up in Hawaii. What was his name? Denny or something like that? And
Spelled Dennis.
no. And yeah, he was like born and raised in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And he said basically when everything in Hawaii became like federalized, they had to start wearing shoes to school. That was like his big thing. That
Big childhood trauma.
that was this big trauma. That's why he slept with a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was so funny to me that to just imagine just people living their life fine. Freaking Moana's hanging out there, just living her life. She wants to go live on the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
She's hanging out with her pig and her chicken and stuff.
Yeah.
And pretty soon the U.S. is like, hey, we need to have a strategic place to like bomb people if we want to.
Mm-hmm.
And we just set up shop there.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but it's just kind of... It is weird.
Colonization.
War is such a... Well, okay, we were talking about the hypersonic missile last episode. And I was actually thinking about this today. It's like war is so like unfamiliar to us because it's so technologically advanced now.
Yeah.
And so there was all these people in the Ukraine that were like hanging out in, like, there was this sad story about everybody hanging out in that theater. There was another one where they spelled, I don't know what they use, like garbage, or, you know, they used some kind of something outside to like say like children are here, you know.
Oh yeah.
So they wouldn't bomb
The
it,
hospital.
you know, war crimes or whatever.
But then they did.
Then they did.
I think it was a hospital.
And it's sort of like, I would think if war came here, let's say, to, you know,
The continental U.S.
here, it would be like so foreign to us, because it's not like an all-encompassing, it's not like you and I, if you've gone to a country, like when I was in Israel, or not so much Jordan, but in Israel, you'd go to a place that wasn't like in the middle of fighting. There's not war. Well, there are missiles being shot there all the time, but it's not like there's continual fighting on the streets or anything. They're not in the middle of a, like, quote unquote war. But you know, the police officers, there's not really police. There's the military, and they're walking around with a freaking takeover.
Right.
And, you know, so they got like a big machine gun. And I was watching this video recently. I think it was in Northern Ireland.
St. Patrick's Day.
Or something. And
Irish car bombs.
the guy was basically like, he said like, man destroys BBC reporter or something like that. The guy's asking him, he's like, but you're free. You're like walking down the street. Everything's fine. You're free. And he's like, look at all these police officers like walking by with loaded machine guns. Am I really free? I'm, 10 feet away from these guys. It's like, obviously I'm not free. And it's so weird because war is so foreign and it's so technological. Like, we don't even have to have, like in the US, our army doesn't have to be that big now, because we have planes that can fly around the world in a second, weapons that can go around the world in a second.
Yeah.
And
planes with no people in them.
Yeah. The idea of us really not that long ago going to Hawaii, which had like a freaking king and queen kingdom.
Yeah.
Even though it's small, it's like going over there and just being like, oh, this is ours now. It's just like so weird to my brain. I can't even almost wrap my head around it, because it's pretty recent history in terms of colonization. It's not freaking. Yeah. Who was that guy that went around China? What's his name?
Attila the Hun?
Yeah, Attila. Is that what I'm saying?
I don't know.
What's the one that the guy? It's like so many people are like part of his bloodline, because what's his name? Ah, oh, dang it.
Mongolian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like, it's not really ancient history.
Right.
The idea that we would just go there and sort of like, hey, this is part of the this is part of the US now. It's weird.
Oh yeah.
It's not even like making Genghis Khan. Yeah, it's not even like a political thing or anything. It's just weird with the fighting going on right now, and I for some reason that always pops in my mind about the guy Denny saying we had to wear shoes. It's like they were just people living their lives, and we're like, and hey, can we park our boats here?
Yeah, we'll help you out. We'll trade, bring stuff in here.
Yeah,
it's all ours now.
Yeah. So, anyways, what got me started on that?
You were thinking about that today.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that today. I don't know why.
I don't know how we got on it.
Anyways, bring an opinion. Bring the heat. You said you're going to do it. Wait, I got to
What was the point that you made? It's weird.
I think... what is my point? I think
Thinking about, is it thinking about like the like day-to-day stuff that is like so weird to think about? Like, like you hear about like big like battles and whatever and blah blah blah, but you don't always hear the stories of like how it affected people's like normal lives.
maybe I was gonna say like just hearing the stuff about Ukraine like every day, and the fact that social media has made it, not to be like too much of a fuddy-duddy, but the fact that social media has made it, I mean, you go on TikTok and you see like, oh, freaking, you can watch a bomb go off like, 5 feet away from a building from some teenager who's got his phone out. It's
I saw a girl. It was
sort
just
of
like
insane.
a day in my life in the bunker. It was like her and her family. She just like wakes up, does whatever, and they like go out to their house to like get some stuff and bring it back to the bunker and get some food. And they're just like hanging out down in this bunker.
It makes me think like, oh, you don't really. It makes me sort of think like, even probably people in the Ukraine are just like, oh, I didn't realize how real. Like, some people I think like, why are they still there? Why are they still living in a city where there's fightings and bombings and everything going on? Not in the terms, not of course like Russia should not be invading and just freaking bombing cities and stuff, but just in terms of a practical like, why are you going to stay in a high rise when there's tanks a couple miles away like shooting into town? It's just like, and I understand these people don't have anywhere to go. They're refugees. They're going to these other countries. It's, millions of people leaving.
The men aren't allowed to leave.
The men are, yeah. Well, a lot of them are staying of their own volition. But yeah, I heard they were like, I heard early on they were like
fighting age, you had to stay.
They were like pulling people out of cars and like telling them to stay. Oh my gosh. Oh, I think I said it on here. The video of a guy saying goodbye to his kids and he was going to stay. Oh, that made me cry. But I think part of it is like these people, they don't, you never, how can you like realize how real war is until it's like on your doorstep? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's almost like we should watch the movie Red Dawn.
Have you seen the modern one?
Yeah, it was bad.
The modern one was bad.
Is that Chris Hemsworth in there?
Yeah.
Thor?
Yeah.
Before he was Thor.
And they had to change it. It was originally going to be China or something. And then
they made it more like
like
fake North Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just say it's China.
I
like
forget.
Back in the day where they're just like, it's Russians.
But there was something that happened with China right then.
Yeah, who knows?
Remember the Sony leak? With the dictator? The dictator with freaking...
the Dictator movie?
Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
And how they were going to release that, and then North Korea like hacked Sony.
Oh. I know that.
You never saw that?
No.
They released all these emails. They had all this information. It's crazy. Hackers, that's a crazy thing. Not to be too serious, but
when Anonymous, the hacker group Anonymous, declared war against Russia, I was like, all right.
But then it's like freaking Russia has like an insane
bots.
They have an insane like hacker group. It's called like freaking something about a bear.
Yeah. And I saw some post. It was like Instagram was blocking Russia or something like that. Like Instagram wasn't going to be allowed in Russia, and it said someone was like, "Oh, finally you can get these bots out of the comments," or something like that. I forget what it was.
That's funny. Yeah, I saw something where there's this new hacker group that's like stealing a bunch, and I saw because they hacked into this. It's basically this company who
collects data.
Well, it's like a login. Like we use it to like log into all our apps at
Oh,
work
yeah.
and stuff.
Like a key.
Yeah.
What's that called? Yeah.
SSO something or another.
Yeah, but it uses like one system to like
Yeah.
access all the apps.
So the hacker group breached them. They have some Microsoft source code, and they have, whatever. It's just weird to think in the future, we're just so at
Digital.
we're so digital. We're just
Well, did you hear about the guys in Florida that got arrested today?
no.
They hacked the gas station pumps.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And so they hacked the gas station pumps and they were getting gas for like pennies.
Oh,
But then I was thinking, why'd you make it pennies? Why don't you just make it nothing?
yeah. Maybe they want the transaction to go through, and they thought maybe it wouldn't get flagged if it was.
Yeah. Gas. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. There's all sorts of crazy stuff. The ones, have you seen where like they build a whole fake ATM shell to put on top of the ATM?
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
And it like fishes your card. Phishing. Catfishing.
That's what I mean. It's just like even simple things like your car now. It's just like it used to be that your car's engine and all the steering and everything ran independent of any electronics that were in your car.
Yeah.
But now everything is dependent on the electronics in your car. And so people don't do car repairs anymore. You can hardly like understand.
Yeah. Even in the train world, the new engines, just to like say you like want to move them around just in the yard, you normally like hook up the air brake system and that's how you can move any sort of train car around. But these new ones, the computer system has to be on and like all this stuff, and it's like sometimes a pain in the butt. Like if the battery's dead or whatever, it turns into a whole thing.
That was the thing
but
about
it's like it's just literally air pressure. Like why do we need a computer?
Yeah. That was the thing about Airbus versus Boeing. Boeing jets still have like, I don't know if the Max does, but Boeing's jets still had fly-by-wire, which is like they still have like physical controls in the airplanes. They're probably still like hydraulics and everything, but there is still something physical in the planes. And in the Airbus planes, they got rid of that a long time ago.
It's all digitized.
So it's just like there's just philosophy, about.
And then which ones crash in the mountains?
It's just interesting. It's the same thing about social media. It's like the world almost is being controlled by like a handful of people.
People.
A handful of lizard people that can control, that can program, that can. It's interesting.
The whole like data collection thing, Cambridge Analytica, all
yeah,
that. Crazy.
You can sort of get overwhelmed thinking about it, and that's what I was saying about the whole war thing. It just everything seems so foreign, but it's like that's what I was saying about Hawaii too. It's like everything seems so out there. Or if you think about history, it's just like, oh, that's when people fought, or that's when people do this, or that's when.
It seems more like stories than real life.
Yeah. Somebody who I follow on Twitter the other day, they were just like, they were saying like, now when I go to buy something, I realize like how this company is ripping me off and how they are destroying, economies in these developing nations or something. And they said it's almost like paralyzing to just like go buy freaking toothpaste now.
Right.
And it is so weird that just, like 100 years ago, what were they saying? I was listening to something today and they were just talking about rapper. Oh no, they were talking about comedians. It was Judd Apatow talking about comedians, and even just 40 years ago or whatever, he was a comedian on the West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
and there was other comedians on the East Coast, and
You never heard.
he didn't know anything about them. He didn't know hardly knew their names. He would never see their act unless they were basically like on
the Tonight Show.
Yeah. And and that was like one generation ago where even you wouldn't even know something happening in your own country or something.
Well, and it's like to go farther back, there's that weird statistic where it's like back in whatever a certain time in history, like everything you could ever know could be like in a newspaper.
Right.
And then now we have this just unlimited knowledge.
I know, it's crazy. Freaking this almost sounds like high thoughts because I don't think we're making any points, but I really have to pee.
We're just observing.
Did you hear
observational
about
comedy.
Did you hear about ... I'm going to have to pee again. It's coming out. I'm sorry.
Play the song.
You can either take over or I'll play the song.
Play the song.
This is when we went pee. I almost yawned on the pod, and I try not to do that because I don't want to yawn on the pod. Bad juju for the pod.
Bad juju.
But I don't believe in witchcraft, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's why.
Believe in a thing called love.
At the time you're listening to this, I visited a church in person.
What?
And I will give my review.
I've been wanting to do that.
I will give my review next week.
Are you going to let us know where it is?
Fox Island Alliance Church.
Guess who's played drums there already?
You have?
Yep.
Via Mandy Murph?
No. Well, she might have been there. Maybe she was there. Yeah.
That's how I don't know how Tammy heard about it.
I know some Fox Island Alliance peeps.
You do?
Yeah. The Browns.
Are you serious? The Browns?
Yeah.
I met them.
Katie
Brown?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Works at Cutter's Point. Used to work at Starbucks with me.
Oh man, she was so nice when I met her there.
And her husband went on a sailboat with their dad.
Wow, you don't remember? You remember the girl's name but not the guy's name?
I worked with her, Skylar.
No, Skylar, another kindergarten.
Yep.
Great kindergarten name.
Skylar Brown.
40-year-old name.
He's not 40 yet. But yeah, went with them on his parents' sailboat.
Clipper.
It was exciting. This is the first time I went under the Narrows Bridge.
Wow.
Which, who knew in the future I would go under this multiple times on a train.
How about this? We still call it the Narrows Bridge, but it's the Narrows Bridges.
Or is it just the bridge is more like not this specific bridge, but just...
I know what you're saying. As
the space where we cross the Narrows.
Exactly. Tacoma Narrows Bridge as an idea.
Right.
But as an object, is the Tacoma Narrows Bridges.
Yeah. Or are they connected at all? Their foundation?
I don't think so. Our parlance hasn't caught up to our lived experience.
Exactly.
Galloping Gertie.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, Tammy and I checked out.
I'm stuck on bridges. Distraught.
Tammy and I, oh my gosh, I gotta go back in time and find this documentary. There's this documentary I always think about, and I'm not a documentary watcher on freaking Netflix or anything like that.
It's on the internet. It's known as the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, and then in the description it says a set of twin bridges.
I know, it's so strange. And they're not twins. Fraternal, if anything.
Yeah.
But
The toll's going down.
oh,
Finally.
that was great news. How can there be freaking people on the freaking advisory council and that toll hasn't gone down? What are you doing? You are living for the man if you ever voted for that thing to go up.
Yeah,
What
that's
the
the whole
heck?
thing. Is it was supposed to be paid off at the very beginning. Like when it was paid off, then the toll would be done
I know.
at the beginning.
That thing
I thought you were
was...
saying I was wrong.
No,
You're shaking your head in disbelief.
I got it. I'm with you.
Yeah, and so it was paid off within like a year or two. That's the number, and especially now, the number of people that go across at a price of $6, whatever it is.
That's the whole thing. It's a
It's
cash machine.
Cash cow.
They thought it was change people's behavior. They thought people would migrate to the peninsula, blah, blah, blah,
Well,
blah,
maybe
blah.
if
It
they
never
had,
happened.
maybe if they had some better public transit.
Oh, you're a Democrat? Freaking... You want there to be... You can marry...
Libtard.
You can
Gay
marry your
dogs.
lizard and stuff like that.
Your gay dog. Yeah, so
Wow.
that's exciting. Dropping 75 cents. They finally decided that it's getting paid off.
They should just make it $1. I mean, they should make it $0. Freaking public...
They got those freaking $10 a mile HOV lanes.
Those are insane. How would people
Is
ever
that how
do
is
that?
that how it works? Like when you see the sign that has the price, is it until you see the next sign that has a price, or is it just once you're in it, it knows you're in it, and it's like what time you got in it? Like, am I paying $10 to be in it for the day, like for that
No.
time,
Mm-mm.
or is it like every time I see the little sign,
I think so.
it's another $10?
Well,
That seems excessive.
I think maybe if you stay in the left over there, you're good to
That's
stay
what I
in
mean.
the left.
Yeah, not like for the day, but in the trip in that area.
I think
Let's
in
say
that,
167.
I
If I
don't
get
know,
in, am I just
actually.
in it now for $10?
Like if you get in Linwood, do you have to get in freaking Bellevue again?
Right,
If you've just been in the left lane the whole time,
right.
are you there 20 or are you just there 10?
Yeah, because even from Auburn to
Or whatever it is,
405,
whatever the
you go through
specifics are.
10 of those signs. Was that $100? Can't
be.
Yeah, it's got to just be one as long as you stay in it.
Yeah.
I hope.
Where's it? What if there's a cop that's in it and you want to get over so the cop's not behind you? Do you get in the other lane if a cop's
Cop
behind
owes
you?
you $10. If a cop's behind me,
Always get over.
no, I
Go for it,
brake
bro.
check them. I thought you meant like with lights on.
No, not with lights on. With lights off.
Yeah.
Oh man, my anxiety goes through the
yeah, you
roof.
start like tasting metal in your mouth.
Because they're gonna shoot you or what?
No, because the adrenaline,
Oh,
the blood's like
I
all
thought it was
pumping. And you ever had that?
the lead in your chest.
Like you slam on the brakes, it's like something happens. You dodge an accident, and then you taste like pennies in your mouth.
I thought pennies in your mouth was a stroke.
It has
Oh,
to do with
that's toast.
it has to do with like the adrenaline and the.
No, I'm gonna have to do that on the way home.
Yeah, try to crash and then don't at the last second. Save yourself and then see what you taste.
Oh man, I think that was my mental state like 2 years ago.
You just headed straight for a telephone pole and then you just, nah. No, I don't think so. Maybe that's why you never tasted it.
Freaking hashtag too real.
Hashtag. Yeah. Too real. With the number 2.
Too real, too furious. Oh man. Anyways, I'm going to that church. I'm going to check it out. Did I look at the online? Yes. Do they have co-pastor? Do they have the man and wife co-pastors, which is annoying? Freaking yes, they do.
Yeah, that's my problem also. Like, I'll look up something and I just have these. It just has like flashbacks and different things where it's just like I just want to be like, no.
Yeah, actually, I have like good vibes about this church, so I hope it goes through. We just watched them online the last couple of weeks. We watched a different one online.
I think my friend Brenny goes there and plays music sometimes.
Oh, there's somebody who sings there and plays a keyboard.
Nope.
Long-haired girl. She's got one of those like crazy vibratos. Where it's like, yeah. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's weird because I like half love that voice because it's just like interesting. Like it's almost like a whole different musical instrument, but it's also because of that fact it's distracting. The guy's like the guy who was playing music there,
I don't know if I wonder if
good
the
guitar
Brown Skylar was playing there.
did some loop. Freaking looped it.
I wonder if my other friend Mike was there. Let me see the band.
Okay. I'll show you well, just go there online because the guy who leads worship, he's on the website.
Yeah, but so what I was saying, like I have such a hard time just going to a church because I just judge everything about it from like being involved. What's it called? Fox Island. What again?
Alliance Church.
Alliance.
Shout out to Karen. I don't know if you listen anymore because you've never talked to me about anything that's on the podcast. But that was one of the things, she worked at CLC for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a perfect sort of...
Is it who we are?
Yeah.
Our story.
It's who we are.
Oh yeah, Josh Mann. You met him.
Yeah, the pastor.
Yeah, Skylar Brown.
Wait, what's his freaking...
Skylar Brown, Katie Brown.
What's his wife's name? Bex or something?
Bex.
Freaking...
Yeah, so that's Skylar Brown.
You know him?
Yeah. And then that's Katie Brown.
Is that the one that has the vibrato, or she's the one that was working there and she's not working there?
This says worship coordinator, so I don't think she's... I don't think she actually sings that I know of.
She might be the one who she was like an assistant, and then she's not going to work there anymore because she's pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant.
Okay, then yeah.
I'm telling you, I already know everything about this church. I know.
Dude, I'll be there.
Yeah, so I think my other friend Brendan plays there too. Drums.
Well, we've only watched twice. 1 week they had a drummer, and 1 week they didn't.
He's a firefighter. So it could be off schedule. Where do you look online? How do you play it online?
It was on Facebook.
Oh.
Well, they might have like messages like on linked to their website.
I couldn't find it very fast.
But
yeah.
But anyways, next week I'll give you my review. It seemed like a vibe.
Well,
but 1 week was him. What's the lead pastor's name again? Josh. And then last week was the week after, whenever, I don't know, timing of these episodes. The next week was a guest speaker.
Oh, that's what happened when I visited a church too, and it throws you right off. Oh yeah.
But actually, I thought of it this way. I get who they bring in to be the guest, like who they would sort of give up their time for, and they would sort of like give the responsibility to speak, also says something about what kind of church that is. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I visited this church, they were like ordaining a pastor to be like they're like adding an assistant pastor. So like the pastor's mentor came up from California and he spoke, and then he like was like blessing the new assistant
Was
pastor
that
or whatever.
when you went with what's his name?
Yeah. Michael B. Holes.
Yeah. Actually, the one thing, this is a Christian and Missionary Alliance church, which is like I don't know if they call them kind of like the AG. I don't know if they call themselves a denomination or not.
I was wondering what the alliance was,
or just a fellowship of churches. Yeah, just like AG churches are all called freaking something assemblies.
And there's big old James Damien on the bass.
James Damien? You know him too?
Yeah. I'm telling you, I should be at this church.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Well, maybe if now with my schedule changing, maybe I will.
You gave me some connections, man.
I'll slide you right in there.
Anyway, so we're going to head over to the island and go to this church. It's a Christian area. Oh, but what I was going to say is one of the things about just for me personally staying in the Assemblies of God for a long time, even though when I started to have like philosophical differences, not philosophical, I'll just say theological, just differences, just not in alignment, not good or bad, just different.
Yeah. It's
just like, I'd have to renew my credentials as a pastor every year. And every year it got harder and harder because it's like, am I lying or is there like wiggle room here? Or am I saying like, yes, I 100% believe these things. No, I don't. And one of the things that was hard for me personally, Michael Browning, was to leave a church or like to leave a denomination when it had like, I really like their like missional philosophy.
Yeah.
And the fact that, not everything the people of the U.S. have exported to the world in terms of Christianity has been that great. But it doesn't change the fact that what the United States have that other places don't have is money. And therefore, churches here should be doing more or people here, to create more equity in the world. And especially like if it's people within your family.
Especially if they're getting off tax-free too.
Especially if they're getting off tax-free. But it's just like...
And getting PPE loans. I'll just keep
abusing their PPE loans. And yeah, life's not perfect here and inflation's going up, blah, 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 blah. But It's like when other people are living on,
pennies to our dollar.
Freaking $100 a month somewhere, it's like maybe you can afford to, spend some of your budget on this or this, overseas. But also the philosophy of like, just raising up people where they are. It's not really it's when it's not about the Americans, but what the Americans have to offer is really like the financial support to like get the ball rolling on stuff. And yeah, that might mean people as the sort of intercessor, but really, you want to put stuff in the hands of. It's like that for me, for the AG, in terms of denomination, that really had me like hanging on the last few years.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like a big deal right now with Tammy and I trying to find a church again after COVID and moving and everything like that, to find some place that really, vibes more.
Yeah. Have you investigated their global fund?
I've done some research like on their website and things like that.
Their pamphlets have the kid with flies around his eyes.
I will research if they're just marketing with fly eye kids or if they're actually doing something about fly eye kids. And
Fly Eye Kids, my new band, my new hip hop rock band.
Kid Rock, freaking.
I was thinking more like Beastie Boys.
So, yeah. So it'll be interesting.
Fly Eye Kids. I'm still stuck on that. Has so many different meanings.
And it's hard because, like, Landon's getting to an age where I want him to find a group of kids.
Preteens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, like, hard to think, what kind of people do I want him to be around?
Yeah.
Things that's, like, a real concern and stuff.
No, yeah, the last time... So I've been on and off this job in the last couple of months, but the last time I was off for like a couple of weeks on call, like made plans to go to a church, and then I got called. So we didn't go. So now we'll try again.
Does Lauren want to go back?
Mm-hmm.
I won't tag her in this episode, but...
Yeah. No, yeah, we have been trying to go.
Yeah. Somewhere closer to her.
Yeah, somewhere and in the middle, anywhere.
Yeah. I know part of me, like, part of me about going there, and this is just a funny, like, personal thing, is I catch myself because my church story over the last, like, well, freaking forever, since I was 15 and a half, let's put it that way. Wink, wink to anybody who knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Has been pretty crazy. And so part of me just like, I have to catch myself just wanting to talk to people about everything. Because part of me in my mind mentally is like, I mean, I don't think Fox Island is like a big church or anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm new, then they'd be like, oh, well, what's going on with you?
Yeah,
and then
that was...
I'm not freaking going to unload...
Yeah, when we visited that church, and it was during COVID, we visited that church. So it was like when we walked in there, we were the eyeballs, and they were all the flies.
Who was we?
Coming. Me and Lauren.
Oh, yeah.
The church we visited during COVID.
Yeah.
So they probably haven't seen anyone new in a year.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that.
And it was like we walked in, and they all swarmed. And it was uncomfortable.
Brute, you guys were like the eyes. They were like the flies.
That's what I said.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just said that.
You know what? Sort of in my head, it was... Again, I was preparing to go to the next thing in my mind because I want to make sure I keep the ball rolling as a good host of this podcast. Uh-huh. And I missed it. And I just want to say, I'm sorry.
I did like a couple episodes ago where you asked if I said... You like had all these things. I was like, yeah, I already said that. I remembered.
There was a pretty egregious one, and probably when I listen back, it'll probably be this one too.
That it was about, and I guess if we listen back, as there was about 9 seconds apart.
But that's what it is. I got it.
So what was the next thing?
I'm like, no, it's not about the next thing. It's just about
you were just
not letting
trying to
dead
keep
air
the
happen.
flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I want to find one. There's one in Auburn that's more like bigger. So I thought maybe it wouldn't have that same feeling of like everyone's like, yeah. But then I like look online and the same our story and join our groups, connect your PayPal here for tithing. It throws me off. Puts me off.
That's what I was going to say about Karen. It's like it was almost a catch-22 because at the time she needed that job, and I really do think it was sort of a providential thing for her to work there at that time and everything. But at the same time, she got to see the BTS. Mm-hmm. The behind
and not the hot Korean version.
Not the hot Korean version. The behind the scenes craziness sometimes about what happens at a dysfunctional church. You know what? I will just say it's been a long time since I haven't been at a dysfunctional church. So, I mean, maybe there's no such thing as a, completely functional, good, 100%, cross all the T's, dotted all the I's.
Because they're all
church.
human. They're all humans.
Yeah, because it's all just people. But I'd like to be closer to that than not.
Right.
Put it that way. So it's like, on one hand, I feel sort of bad for Karen because she even texted me. She's been going to Life Center a few times in Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know
Shout
personally.
out Nick.
Nick,
Worship leader.
You know?
Yep.
Shout out Tyler Sully. He's the pastor there.
Oh, I thought he was a pilot.
No.
Landed the plane on the river.
On the what?
On the river. Sully. What'd you say his name was?
Tyler.
Sully.
Sully.
Oh.
Not Sully Sullenberger. Sully Sullenberger. That sounds like definitely like a comic book name. You know how Peter Parker, Sully Sullenberger.
Yeah. Alliteration.
Josh Jonah Jameson or whatever his name is. Josh? That doesn't seem right.
I don't know who that is.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Who's that?
That's the news guy. That's the newspaper guy.
Head of the paper?
Yeah. Clark Kent. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's CK.
Mark with the C, Kent.
Clark
Kent.
Yeah, so Karen's been going to Life Center, and I feel she just wants to go and sit in the seats and like have a nice church experience too. But but now sort of it's hard for her because she was at a dysfunctional church with psychotic people, and it's hard to not sort of imagine what's happening behind the scenes. And that's hard for me. It's like I look at every sermon with different eyes. I look at every worship team with different eyes. I look at everything that's happening in the service from when you walk in. Freaking coffee. Is someone feel exhausted for being there? They feel like they should just be a volunteer, but they're spending 40 hours a week there.
Well, that's like
because they
how
can't
long,
say
if
no
I went to
or
Fox,
whatever.
If I started going to Fox Island, how long until someone asked me to play drums? If you said there's days where they don't have drums,
Exactly.
It's only a matter of time until the word gets out. And they already know me.
I know.
And
you just got to set your boundaries.
Yeah.
If you're a good person, if you're bad at saying no, honestly, you'll have a hard time like being a part of the life of a church because it just suck you dry sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're okay at saying no, if you're okay with saying no, but still want to be a part of what's going on, it can sort of set you at odds. Unfortunately, if you can say like, hey, I can only play drums. Like this is what I was doing at New Hope before I left. I was like, I can only do it once a month. That's all I feel comfortable with. I'm gone from my house too much.
Yeah.
I can only do once a month. If you really need me in an emergency, I am okay with being called because then I'll just evaluate whether I can or not.
Right.
But you have to be okay with hearing a no from me. I can do once a month. Always call if you have an emergency. I'll probably tell you no. There's a chance I won't.
Right.
But then it has to deal with like if the other person's okay with hearing no too. Because then they call you. It's like, hey, I have an emergency. I have nobody for tomorrow. And I'll be like, well, no, sorry, this time doesn't work out for me.
Yeah.
And then
like, oh my God.
It's up to that person whether they're going to think.
And then you go there still on Sunday and you're sitting there
exactly
in the front row when there's
freaking just a person on the piano singing off key.
Yeah.
Sliding in the notes. She sings on key. With your old girlfriend. With your ex.
Yeah. Oh, in that video, that wasn't Katie Brown singing this. Some redhead girl.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Me talking a lot.
It's okay.
I talk a lot about war in the beginning, and
I got thrown off on that a little bit.
It was definitely #high thoughts because I was all over the place.
Because you just got thrown off because I kept like waiting for something, and then you just said, "That's weird, right?"
I won't try to summarize or put a nice bow on it now because it is what it is, and it'll just add minutes to this podcast, and I don't want to do that. But what I do want to do is wrap it up, and I'll turn it over to you to do that.
I always want to go into a rap. I need to write a full one time.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
But yeah, thank you for listening to the Bad Brothers podcast. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate your interaction online, liking and subscribing and commenting and sharing with your friends, adding posts to your stories.
What do we talk about in this episode? Should I tag the church in this episode?
Oh yeah. You're pretty what's the word?
Awesome.
Laissez-faire with your tagging. What do they call it when you're like brandishing the gun too much?
Dangerous.
Shooting from the hip.
Oh yeah.
With your tagging.
No, I do anything that's in the episode. I tag it.
Right. Yeah. So, thank you. Like, subscribe if you want to donate $1,000 and become Legacy Extraordinaire donor. You'll make it or whatever you want to put into the podcast.
You can have an in memoriam Legacy Extraordinaire.
Yeah, you could do like
I could mention your dead relative every week
in memory of, rest in power, Peaches the dog or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it could be a pet.
And it'll help get the video going. So thank you.
How hilarious would that be?
We're counting down to 100 episodes. Episode 100 coming soon.
Oh my gosh. It's insane.